This is the real hustle.
Well, hello, guys. Welcome back to This is the Real Hustle. Yes, I know I look a mess, but I don't care. Anyway, I'm out in my favorite spot, and yes, I do wear my fuzzy hoodie. Anyway, I just want to get on here and talk to you guys about this transition that I'm in, okay? Listen, when things are shifting and changing, you just never know what that's going to feel like. It's super uncomfortable at times, but again, like I said before, it's good discomfort. However, it's hard to like keep, how should I say, to be hopeful, you know what I mean, while you in the unknown or the gray area or whatever, especially for those who are not used to being in that space. It's like you literally have to trust the process, and that's probably one of the hardest things to do, especially when you like used to being in control of everything, like me. Okay, I would rather know what's happening than be, or at least have an idea, versus like just out here like freestyling is what I call it. So it's been a struggle, actually. However, it's not as bad as it sounds. However, it's a struggle internally, I guess. And then also on the journey, like self-discovery and all those things or whatever, it's like you really got to be ready to take accountability for your actions. You got to be ready to take accountability for the parts that you played in certain situations. You got to be able to take accountability for the things that you done to your kids, or like subconsciously. Like you got to take accountability for a lot of things, like the darkest parts of you that you don't want to pay attention to, or no, I don't want to say don't want to pay attention to, but the parts of you that you hide or mask because you don't like them. But every person that you meet is also a mirror. Don't forget that. The people that you attract is how you really feel about yourself, or what you portray, if that makes sense. What you give is what you get back. Even if you're not giving it on purpose, you just attract what you give, right? Law of attraction is also real. But like what I was saying was, the people that you meet, well, I'll use myself. The people that I'm meeting while I'm on this journey, some are good versions of me, or what I would like to be, and others are versions of my old self, or where I have, I won't say elevated, but kind of, I guess I can use that word. But, where I used to be that I'm no longer. I've been meeting people that have shown me sides of me that I'm like, dang, am I really like that? Like, everybody's not the problem, okay? One of my friends was like, I have to ask, are you a part of the problem? It just can't be everybody else. And it was like a gut punch, but also like, damn, excuse my French, am I? And as I said and thought about it in the situations we were talking about, I'm like, dang. And I said that I'm a part of the problem because I feel like some of the things that I have been getting, I give people. So it was like, ooh, shoot. When I really sat and thought about it, it was literally like, girl, you got some explaining to do. Not really like that, but it was just like, you got to hold yourself accountable. You can't be trying to hold somebody else accountable and you ain't even holding yourself accountable. When them people come in your life and you be like, what in the world? Why is it like that? Take a look at yourself and see what you really like. Take a look at yourself and be like, damn, do I treat people that way? Damn. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, take a look at yourself. You'll be surprised with what you find out about yourself. And it could be some ugly truths, okay? Super ugly. But the best part about those ugly truths are you acknowledge them, you like stand up, fight head on with those things, so that way you'll be better. I was talking to my son and he was like, he said, when you discover those parts of you, be intentional about changing them. When you have those thoughts or when those things come up, just be intentional about everything that you do, so that way when those parts of you come up that you don't like, you will change it or be intentional about not doing it. And I was like, you're right. So that's what I've been doing lately. Just being intentional about everything that I do, what I say, and doing my best to speak slower so that way I know, okay, like, all right, did you say that already? Or, okay, be clear. Exactly. You know what I mean? Say, it's a lot. But I'm just being more intentional about the things I do, what I say, how I treat people, like, just everything, pretty much. Like, I am under a microscope, but not in a bad way. And not somebody else looking, but me looking on the inside of me and finding all the parts of me that don't fit anymore that I need to release. Like I was telling you, it's the fall, so things are falling off. Or the parts of me that I need to work on. And just those parts of me that I don't like or that are not good traits. And changing those things. Not easy, okay? At all. Not easy. However, it's happening. The shift and the transition is happening. And, like, I can feel it physically. Like, for real, y'all. But anyway, this is my little vibe check. But anyway, check in with yourself. How y'all feeling? Like, do y'all feel the shift too, or is it just me? Oh, also, last week I had a question put up, and I asked, would you rather be a worker or owner? And I had one response, and I'm going to respond to that. But nobody else really responded. And I had to sit and think about that myself. That's why I actually had posted it, because I was like, what would I want to be? You know what I'm saying? I'm going through some stuff, learning a lot about employees and all of these things. And I was just like, do I want to deal with all that? Right now in my life, I'm like, absolutely not. So I will work for myself, but I will not have employees, maybe an assistant. But I want to be like independently contracted, like just me, So that's my thoughts. At this time, that's how I feel. But yeah, anyway, like I said, don't mind the way I'm looking right now. I just had to hop on here and say, hey y'all, how y'all feeling? What's going on? Am I the only one that's in a shift or a transition and a change? And actually having to do stuff that you don't like to do, like look at yourself, deal with yourself, and also even have to make sacrifices for certain stuff and make choices or decisions based off of your actual or what you really can do in life or what you need to do right now. Like sometimes we got to make decisions that we wouldn't necessarily be like, I'm not doing that or no to. And sometimes we have to say yes for the moment and remember that it's temporary. So for those of you who are experiencing something like, I'll say hard things or things that you don't like, that don't make you happy and you have no other option, or you do have other options and they just all don't work and this is the only thing that's working right now, I say go with the thing that works, because you may put yourself in a bind. A friend of mine said today, don't make, and I've heard it before, however, it just hit a little different today. Don't make permanent decisions off of temporary circumstances. And I was like, she's absolutely right. And she said, find your heart. So both of the situations or, places are hard. However, I chose the hard one that made sense for me. So basically, two different things. Which one is hard? If they're both hard, you pick the hard one that's doable, not the hard one that's not doable. Say, for instance, they're both not hard, but they have pros and cons. Do both. Figure out which one you want to do. Because there's always something in one, in a situation or a decision that you make that could come up. So you choose which one. And also remember, like I said before, like she told me, don't make permanent decisions based off of temporary circumstances. If you know you're in a situation just for a season, remember that it's only temporary. The seasons change. And give yourself grace going through this period or this time. And I'm reminding myself that too, because it's tough, but know that something is coming, okay? we are transitioning and turning into different people, different versions of ourselves. And with that comes is abundance, like in all ways. Within you, like your surroundings, your jobs, your environments, the people that you attract. Like when you release stuff, things come back, y'all. So it's worth it. And sorry, it's a little shaky. I'm using my hand today, okay? But anyway, so natural face right here, okay? You see the light. Anyway, sorry too, getting over this little cold or whatever was going on. But anyway, again, vibe check in with yourself. How you feeling? What y'all got going on? Y'all shifting. Come on, I look a little dark in there. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. I will see you next time. Bye.
This is The Real Hustle.